So what's the team news, please, first of all?
Team news. Moses is still injured. Oscar is still injured. And I don't know if anyone of the new players is available for Sunday or not. At this moment, I still don't know.
Have the arrival of those two new players given you a lot to be positive about this week? Freshen things up?
Well, we normally train very well, but I think this week we train better than ever. Why? Because we are not happy. I'm not happy with the results. The players are not happy with the results. We want to do better, and there is only one way, and the only way is to work well and better than ever, which we did all this week. New players are always welcome, so obviously I'm happy that both of them they come to us. I know that the Premier League doesn't start tomorrow. I know that the Premier League started 2 weeks ago, but the market is, people used to call it the transfer window. I sometimes call it the opportunity window. While the window is open, there is always an opportunity window. So dangerous, because every team can lose players in a moment where nobody is happy to lose players, but at the same time it's an opportunity window to get players until the last moment. And this week we got a very good young left back that we need, with potential that we believe can be developed, and we get one of the best attacking players in the world, a player with lots of experience and with something that I really like very, very much, which is the desire to leave a giant club, the desire to leave one of the best clubs in the world, the desire to leave one club that normally, when you are there, you don't want to leave. And for a player like him, loved in the club, he loves the club, and he wants to leave because he wants something more for his career. I think is an evident sign of ambition. Wants to play every game. For many years he won everything, playing with Messi, with Iniesta, with all these stars, but he wants more, and I'm really happy with that kind of attitude. He comes to play and to try to win and to try to enjoy, and not on holiday. So I'm really happy with these two players.
Weeks and weeks, it seemed as though Pedro was going to go to Manchester United, and the way that this is being portrayed is that Chelsea have had a bit of a victory over Manchester United by getting him. Do you see it that way?
Well, I only want to beat Man United on the pitch if it's possible. I don't even want to go in that direction. Our job here is not to try to get a player that another club wants. Our job is to try to get the players that we think are good for us. I think most of the times we don't fail, but sometimes players are not successful, and obviously we are the ones to be blamed for that. But as I was saying before, the market is an opportunity window where you have to be careful for not to lose your best players, but at the same time is an opportunity window to get players that sometimes you are not expecting to get, and in this case, I don't want to say we won, we lost, Man United won, didn't want. That's not the point. The point is that Pedro is a player that we like a lot, and we are happy to have.
It does seem like a double win for you, though, Jose. You stopped your rival strengthening, and you strengthened as well. That's two positives for you.
Again, that's not the point for me. That's not the point for me. For me, everything started with the fact that finally we understood that the player was ready to leave the club of his dreams, the club of his heart, the club where he played since he was a kid, when he won absolutely everything. And when I'm told that a player wants to leave Barcelona, Real Madrid, these giant clubs, I always put a question mark, because I always ask myself why they want to leave. And normally there are lots of rumors, and normally it's never true, but was true. He has amazing respect, and to be fair, he loves the way he speaks. He loves Iniesta and Messi and Neymar and these guys that played with him all these years. But, you know, everything he does, and he did so many good things, he would be always behind. And this is a moment for him to enjoy a different life, a different status, a different challenge, leave the comfort zone, comes to a new club, to a new country, to a new culture. So I'm really happy with this approach.
Speaking of getting encouragement when you hear players want to leave their club, we understand John Stones is thinking about putting in a transfer request. Would that give you encouragement that you might be able to get that deal done?
Well, I don't speak about players from other clubs, and especially when the championship is on. Every club has a game tomorrow or Sunday or Monday, and it's complicated to go in that direction, you know. So I'm quiet.
Is a central defender the last thing you want to add if you've got that A deal done for a player?
You know, as I was saying, transfer window or opportunity window, we can call what you want, but I think in this moment more than ever, in these last 2 weeks, I call it opportunity window. Depends on the opportunities, depends. Can you do something? Can you do something that you really believe that you cannot lose the opportunity to do? So let's see what can happen.
And last week, when you spoke about your medical staff, you were very positive about the fact that even though you were making changes for last week's game, who was on the bench, that could potentially change in the future and it could go back to how it was. Have you done anything this week, now that the dust has settled on that story, to just smooth things over, to try and make it right if that is needed?
Well, I think in some aspects in my career I'm unique, and I'm also unique in some questions the media put to myself. I think in this moment I am the unique manager in the world, asked in a press conference about the medical stuff. I think I'm the only one. So I don't answer, because I don't think important. I think important is that the players are in good hands, and since my arrival here, they are always in good hands. So next weekend is not going to be different. They will be in good hands, in the hands of the people that will be on the bench, and in the hands of the people that is not on the bench, and many times they are even more important, because they have the knowledge and the power and the experience to make decisions. So that's the most important thing. My players, since my first day here, I want to repeat, is not since yesterday, since my first day here, they are in good hands on the pitch and outside the pitch.
Jose, do you always plan to bring in a signing of the calibre of Pedro, or has your start to the season necessitated that?
I repeat, it's a question of opportunity. It's a question of opportunity. You know, that transfer window is a period full of rumors, full of information, sometimes wrong information, sometimes clubs working, other times agents working. Many times it's not true, and when you realize that it's true, sometimes unexpected things can happen. And to be fair, when I see Pedro playing the European Super Cup, when I see Pedro playing the Spanish Super Cup, like is the last game of his career, I always thought with that commitment, with that attitude, he's going to stay in Barcelona for sure. So when we know that he's that kind of professional that gives everything, but in his mind clearly he wants to leave, then is an opportunity that the window creates for you. And we, as a club, we decided not to lose, try to get. And then, obviously, we are happy that the player chooses.
This weekend, will John Terry start on Sunday?
Maybe. Why not? Normally, he is in the team. Normally, he plays. So why not?
How did he take being taken off at half-time last week? How did he react to it? Did you have a chat with him about your
No,
decisions?
I didn't have one single word about him. Because at the half-time, I explained what I wanted to the second half, and every player listened to it. I want to push up, I want to press high, I want the midfield line to be the reference for the defenders. I want my fastest defender to be on the pitch. I played Zuma, so my players, they understand the explanations, they react positively. As I told at Man City Stadium after the game, I was not expecting John or another player that I replace. I'm not expecting them to be jumping or dancing in the dressing room, but he behaved professionally, and the next day in training, doing what he does with me since 2004, which is to train always top.
And what have you learned from these two opening games about your side?
What
What have you learned from these two opening games?
Well, I didn't learn anything special, because it's difficult in this moment of my career to have new things or things that I never saw, that I never experiment. So to be fair, nothing new. One of the things clearly is that nothing went in our direction in both matches. We played fantastically well in the first half against Swansea. The result was very short. 2-1 was very, very short. In the second half, we played with 10 men, and we conceded a penalty, and the game became very, very difficult. So nothing went in our direction. And Man City, in the first half, the best team was winning. In the second half, the best team couldn't equalize, and we had chances to equalize. We had a fantastic goal by Ramirez. I don't know if he's 1 inch onside or 1 inch offside, but if he's in or off, he's 1 inch. He's not more than 1 inch. We miss a goal with an open chance, and then we concede a very stupid goal. So nothing went in our direction. Do we have to improve? Obviously, always. But we are calm, not happy, but calm. And I think we need that. We need to be unhappy, because that feeling makes you work better, better than ever when the results are not good. And to be calm is very, very important too.
And does Courtois come back in goal?
Yeah, he comes back in goal. I'm so happy with Begovic performance. Show clearly what we have. But we go back to Courtois.
Wally.
Joseph, when Quadrado has really struggled to get into your side, will Pedro's arrival make it even more difficult for him?
Well, it's again the same thing I was telling before. There are some questions that you guys put me that are quite unique because nobody asked Pellegrini if company is in trouble with Otamendi arrival. Nobody asked Pellegrini if De Michelis or Mangala they are going to leave the club. It's something just natural. They decide to buy a very good central defender. They had 3 in this moment. They have 4, and this is the kind of question that comes only to myself, So I read something today. Also, Mr. Van Gaal saying that he has 28 players, and is very happy with that. Look, with Pedro we have 23. We don't have 27 or 28, so we have 23. So let us be calm and see what happens.
So you speak about opportunity. How likely is it that Paul Pogba could be a Chelsea player by the close?
Well, Juventus player. I can't speak about a Juventus player. I know that Allegri was all summer speaking about Oscar and Ramirez, but I don't do that with Juventus players. So Pogba, Juventus player, and Juventus player only Allegri can speak about him, not myself.
And Tony Pulis, obviously he's won the last 2 matches between the pair of you.
It's not the last 2, are the only 2. Are the only 2.
You must be keen to rectify that on Sunday.
No, that's not the point. The point is, I obviously I want to try to win, but it's not to win against Tony. It's to try to get points that we need. So that's not the point.
But managers with the surname beginning with P have beaten you in the last season.
Okay, so let's try to rectify.
Is it your least favourite letter at the moment?
I didn't even think about it, I promise. But I wouldn't mind to go to the superstitious side of the game. And the superstitious side of the game, I never win against a P. And seasons where I start with a 2-2 at home, I win the treble.
You started the 2-2?
Huh?
2-2.
2-2 Porto Belenenses, we won the treble. 2-2 Inter Bari, we won the treble. 2-2 against Swansea.
Real Madrid?
Never to do.
Okay.
So just one
Yes,
quick question. The only thing I'd say about Pedro arriving, you did say that you were going to do a policy of 1 in, 1 out, which obviously is why we're all thinking that now Pedro's arrived and someone's going to go.
Maybe, but it's not a compulsory thing. I can perfectly have 1 more player than is normal for us. That's not a problem. 1 more option for me is not a problem. It's not a problem. You have injuries, you have suspensions, you have different competitions to play. Hopefully we can progress in the domestic cups too, and there is a moment where you have lots of matches to play. So if we have 1 more winger in the group, can be a problem for the wingers not getting the playing time they want, but for me it's not a problem.
Okay, final question then.
About Pedro, adding Pedro in your squad, do you think that that's going to push Willian to squeeze more goals out of him? Because that's one thing you wanted from Willian.
William.
Willian get more goals in the squad.
Well, players are different, and some question before, I don't remember which one of your colleagues, about what can Pedro bring that others they don't have, every player is different. William does things that Pedro doesn't. They are complete different players, but is a big lie of the market when I read something that we want to sell William or some club wants William. Maybe they want, but they don't get him.